since we are sitting here.
And we're on air. No, I'm playing.
and we streamed on the JLP. And we streamed to all of New York, like something crazy.
And we are live in 5, 4.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Oh. Welcome to Punchie TV.
Welcome to Punchie TV with your hosts.
Welcome to Punchie TV. I am Punch with your host, Punchie, from JesseLeePeterson.com show. Oh, Joel Friday, the host of the... What am I saying about you? The American Anchor Baby. The host of the American Anchor Baby show. James Hake, a host of the Hake Report. Welcome to Punchie TV. Punchie.
Welcome to Punchie TV. We are back with another episode. Here again, the three hosts, Hake of the Hake Report, Nick of the American Anchor Baby show, Joel Friday of JFTV, Joel Friday TV. Amazing stuff. We are back, and I have one quick question right off the bat, straight out the gate. One quick question for you guys and for the lovely audience there. What's more important, what you say or how you say it?
Interesting. I say, dang. I lean towards how you say it.
How you say it?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so. You want me to take a stab? Can I stay? No, yeah. How you say it? How you say it?
How you say it?
How you say it to my guy?
How you say it? Interesting. I didn't think that you guys would say how you say it.
For real?
Interesting.
I thought that you guys would say maybe what the truth. But I guess you can't assume nothing about nothing. Because how you say it could mean like nicer or like not so mean.
How you say it it matters how it's coming out, how your state, not how they perceive it though.
Totally.
Okay.
Because how they perceive it could be totally different because they could be judging you with their hell, you know?
Let's say it comes from love. Mm-hmm. Can anybody not see that?
Yeah.
Could they judge it as something different?
Yeah, definitely. Because
Nice.
because people are blind, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes people are like, you know, I can't help liking you.
Yeah.
But like you hear that all the time with Jesse. I disagree with you, but I can't help liking you.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because he's coming from love.
Don't you think that people, if it's coming from love, people inside of them can recognize when something's coming from love?
Sometimes.
Or do you think that...
It's definitely a protection. It's sort of disarming.
Okay, so say if like a person who is blind, can't see, lost, and you come up with somebody with love, do you think that they would automatically be disarmed and be like, oh, that's coming from love? Or if they're not ready to receive it, they're still going to be ticked?
They may still be ticked, but they'll be helpless to you. A lot of people will say the same things JLP says, but they'll get themselves beat up or something. Yeah. Or, you know, because they're saying it out of place, wrong spirit, wrong time. I'm thinking about how people always call up Jesse and say, I don't mind what you say, but it's how you say it.
Right.
Which is funny because he says what's right, and he says it in a right way.
So
when Trump said they're rapists, people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. A lot of people, including the media who know better, should know better, said, oh, he said all Mexicans are rapists. But he didn't.
Okay, well, let's use that one as an example. Say if, because Trump was saying that they're rapists, and we know what he meant, right?
Yeah.
But like, let's say if he said it like, these people are rapists, right? Mm-hmm. And it didn't come from, it was just stating fact. It didn't necessarily come from love or whatever. Are people wrong for criticizing that the way he said it may have offended people, or?
Yeah, no? They're definitely wrong.
Okay, why? Yeah. Why do you think so?
Because telling the plain truth that's not politically correct is going to offend people. But they're wrong to be offended because it is the plain truth. I mean, we keep on hearing about all these different rapes of by these different people who rape and murder, or rape and a 10-year-old girl has to get an abortion or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. And so it's true what he's saying. And these are like shocking situations. It's not just, oh, they commit less than the normal Americans.
Right.
No, they commit crazier crimes. So it's the truth.
Yeah. Well, I'll say like say there's nobody who knows about the stats. Say they're just naive, ignorant to the stats. And
Yeah.
you hear somebody say that the Mexicans, well, he didn't say it like that, but he says that
Mexico's not sending their base. They're bringing drugs.
and some of them are rapists. If
Right.
somebody who hears that and they're naive to the world and stuff, and they don't know that this is truth.
Yeah.
And all they have is how you said it. Are they wrong for saying?
They are wrong, because they should be like, I didn't know that. Or is that true?
Right.
You know, because part of what he's doing is educating the people about the plain, big picture reality of what's going on. And a lot of people have been living in this world so long, they're used to it. The media kind of ignores it, covers it up, or pretends that's not what they focus on. They focus on what people say rather than what's actually happening. So, no, they're definitely wrong for criticizing the way he said it. Yeah. They're wrong for being offended is not as bad as, or offending people is not as bad as what's happening to the country.
Nick, do you think that, and then you can follow up with that, but do you think that you can say the truth out of hate?
I don't think you can.
You don't
That's
think you
why
can?
I don't think you could. That's why I don't think in that scenario, at least with Trump, you can't say such a thing with hate. You can't say such a thing without love. Because you need the courage. You need to have the courage from love to say it. That's why nobody's saying it.
Well, some will say, to play the devil's advocate.
Look, consider for a moment the people who say the truth with anger. Let's consider a topic that we brought up on this show, like red pill people. It's like whatever truth they bash women with. But if you notice, they don't say the plain truth. They add on to it. They add on their own fears, their own stuff on it. You can't tell a country who's been deceived and lied to about the border for decades. You can't say that's a lie. Their rape is coming over without love. That's just the plain truth.
Interesting. Well, I'm not saying I disagree with it at all. I'm just saying some will say that when Satan spoke the words of truth to Jesus in the wilderness, he didn't do it out of love, but he still spoke them to deceive. So my question is, do you think that people can do that in the same way?
They can, I think so. I think you can attempt to do that, but I'm trying to think of that moment with Satan. Didn't he tell him lies? Didn't he essentially just tell him lies like you can have the world? Didn't he tell him you can jump off this and I'll protect you or something like that? Or
how about hate?
Yeah. He was,
he essentially
he
lied
like kind of misapplied. He misapplied what the Bible was saying.
Fair enough. I asked that.
But I'm not trying to do like a little dodge either, though. It's people, the words themselves. I think that's why I'm a how you say it kind of guy, because the words themselves they can be misused, misconstrued, used for the exact opposite thing you're saying.
Yeah,
they can be.
Interesting. I don't disagree, and I wanna give my take too, but I want to play this clip first, and then we're gonna tie it all together. This is from Khalid Atah. I love this guy. We probably have to pay him at this point as much as I use his clips. But he just I don't know, he just has some good stuff on there. Khalid Atah tells black people he called other blacks the N-word.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? So in today's video, we're going to be doing the black eye prank, except this time it's going to be a twist to it. Basically, when they ask why I got this black eye, I'm going to say it's because I said the N-word.
Damn! Coming your eye, boy!
Man, I got in a fight, bro. I got in a fight because I said the N-word.
What the
Yeah, bro.
Man, you done know one of us. What the f*** because you said the N-word. And you cool as hell, so I get down on you.
Man, I already know. Because I feel like, yeah.
Where they at?
I know where they at right now, bro.
Where? Come on, let's ride.
You trying to...
Yeah. Damn, man. What the f*** is your eye?
Yeah.
Something to do with this.
I ain't gonna lie, I said the N-word. What happened?
What the happened to your ass, boy?
Man, I got in a fight.
You got in a fight? What,
Yeah.
What the Barracuda? What the
Nah, I got in a fight like literally. I threw the hard R and I got sucker punched from the back.
Damn. Snake choke.
Yeah.
Damn, folks. Who the is it?
I ain't gonna lie. You know Tyrone?
Tyrone?
Yeah.
Man, I beat the out of Tyrone. I'm glad you said that.
You know what I'm talking about?
The Venezuelan just told me this. Tyrone.
Hey, nah, chill. What you doing?
No, on folks in the
You don't care that I said the N-word?
Yo.
What?
You don't care that I said the
Don't get
N-word?
no about that, boy. We finna go slide on Tower ass, boy.
Yeah.
Good looking, bro.
Yeah.
Hold on. What the
What happened?
Hey, bro, what happened to your eye, bro?
I got in a fight.
I ain't gonna lie, where you was at?
I was over here.
What they at? How they look?
How they look? One was gay. One was like in a like that. And then, cause I ain't gonna lie to you though. Did I deserve it? I said the N-word.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. You don't deserve none of that shit, bro. Let me know how them niggas is, bro. You want me to go grab it?
Yeah.
What you hold?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I did get hit. I did get hit by someone.
You for real?
Yeah.
I'm my mama, boy. You a grown ass man. What they hit you for?
I said the N-word.
The N-word.
Yeah.
Man, you can say what you want out here in America, man. Did that shit, bro.
Nah, it's cause you know what? You know why I didn't call you though? It's cause I felt like cause I said the N-word, you would go against me.
Why would I go against you, bro? Man, that's a free country, bro. Man, I ain't on that, bro. Man, I'm a good dude, man. Man, it's good opinion sorority around this bitch, man. Say how the you feel. Everybody else, man, this is a free country, bro. I ain't against y'all, man. Y'all, man, y'all free to be here and do what the fuck y'all want to do. How the fuck y'all finna feel? How the fuck we feel?
Yeah. So you would have had my back?
Man, 100, man.
Hey, that's love, bro. I don't real talk, bro.
1,000, like,
bro, I ain't gonna lie.
1,000, not 1,000, my.
So
Yeah, Tyrone, yeah, he is one. Yeah, he is.
for what? He made all those
okay,
up.
'cause I was wondering if he knew what he meant by I put out the hard R. Because he said I put the hard
Right,
R and
you
the guy
did.
pulled out the knife.
Yeah, he knew.
I'm gonna get Tyrone.
He's gonna get Tyrone.
But he knew that meant the N-word.
Yes.
Yeah, he knew
Okay.
because later he said, "Do you care if that I said the N-word?" And he's like, "No, I don't care about that stuff. Man. We're gonna get Tyrone." But
That's
for
funny.
one, Tyrone and these names that he used in the video are not real names, but they all pretended like they knew the people.
Well,
they're
they
like,
might-
"Oh,
they
we
might
know
know a
Tyrone."
Tyrone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's like some poor Tyrone out there.
But then Khalid is like, I know. Khalid was like, "Well, how you know which Tyrone I'm talking about?"
Some poor Tyrone out there is about to get
Yeah.
That's a big knife too.
I know.
That's a knife. That's worse than the knife I pictured. Never mind.
And he said he got it from the Venezuelans.
They know and like him already. So
Yeah. I think when it comes to what you say or how you say it, I think that what's more important is, like you said, is how you say it, like you guys said. But I think also what you say is also kind of important too.
definitely, yeah.
But the reason why I bring up the black people thing is because, like, if he says that around black people, he's obviously saying it in like a brotherly, friendly type of way, like culturally. He's not like typically trying to like offend, right? So how he says it matters in that moment because he's not going to get beat up. And they all hear it and they all know him. They're all cool with him.
Yeah.
So, they're like, I don't care because I know you're not saying it with this kind of intent. So I think that's one thing. But there's cases where if you say, obviously we know, another way to black people in an offensive way, or not even that it's offensive, but that it has more like intent to harm, then it's a different story.
It's a
more
skill
cultural.
issue, I think, because this guy has people skills.
Yeah. And
Like
they
really
like
strong
him.
people skills. Yeah.
And he even said crazy stuff to him, but they
But
still
he
like
says it
him.
in a way.
Exactly.
He does have his way of saying
And
it.
maybe it's how he's saying it. you know?
Right.
He has his way of saying it.
But I want to break down the reason why I think how you say it is better than what you say. Like, because I think that all words in general, period, and then you guys let me know what you guys think about it. All words in general, period, are meaningless unless they have, without context and attitude, whether it's good or bad attitude. And what I mean by that is that words itself, like for example, if I tell a Christian, or if a Christian says obey, versus if a atheist says obey, it's two different meanings for the most part, right? You tell a Christian a person to obey, from the most likely, right? They'll understand. They'll have context to that already. You tell, they don't even have to be atheists. You just tell a random lady on the street to obey. She's taking out, because people have their own meanings that they've defined over their lifetime of what certain things mean. So in order to get your point across, I feel like you need context for one, so you could paint the full picture. But what's most important is the attitude. One universal language that everybody knows, no matter the language, is love and hate. If they're hateful, you can tell. And if they're being of love, for the most part, you can tell.
A lot of people roll their eyes at Christians because they'll just quote the sayings, and it'll be
empty words.
Just roll your eyes. You hate them. It makes you hate them. If you're a hateful person, you know.
Because when they're doing that, where do you think it's just emptiness? There's really no real intention. It's just kind of like repeating.
They're thinking that the Bible has magic words. Or something. It's a training, I think.
There are I forget what you call it, transcripts, I guess you call them, but when there are court proceedings, there's someone who's there writing down everything that everybody says. Like every word. And it's funny to read some of these over when you're studying a case, when you're just like reading news and studying stuff. It's funny to read some of these, and you can read a transcript of a court, and what's read is not at all what happened because someone was being sarcastic or something like that. So none of that is captured. So you make me think about a bunch of things, but
that's a good point.
The words themselves, they're assigned meaning by us, like you said, really. But do they hold any meaning outside? If a tree fell and nobody heard it, kind of thing. If a word was written and all people stopped existing, like would that word have meaning?
And that's why I bring up the language thing, because if I'm reading Mandarin, I don't know what the heck I'm reading. It's just empty to me. It's like it's nothingness. So it's like that's the same thing as a person who doesn't know a word. But when you hear that person speaking, then you can kind of pick up like what energy they have when they're with intention. But I also realized that attitude and intention are two different things, right? So like, without making this overly deep for no reason, but like if I have a good attitude, is readable. But if my intentions are good, it doesn't mean that it's still gonna come out properly.
Right.
Because a lot of people think that, as long as you have the right intention, you're good. But you can still have the right intention with the wrong attitude, is the point. You know what I mean? Because you can mean well, like, I meant to tell them the truth.
But I got mad. Okay.
You're right. But then you got mad or whatever, and then it's all jacked up. So I think people misunderstand having a good attitude with, well, I meant well when I said it, type of thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
It's almost like intentions are manipulative. Like you shouldn't even have intentions, you know?
Interesting.
Because intentions are about like the outcome. And you should say what's right to say in the right way. And don't worry about the outcome.
Yeah, that's a good point. Instead of trying to
because you're wanting what's good for somebody is sort of judgmental. People want to spit. Sometimes, or they might be charmed sometimes, but it's not right. It's not good.
And that's why it doesn't work.
Point.
I had a guy.
It's self-evident. That's why it doesn't work.
You
just have the intent and it never works. That's why I always saying the same thing. But I meant well.
And that's the worst thing to mean.
I think
one of the worst things.
I think back on a lot of times.
I had a guy. I was injured in college, and I mentioned it to this fellow track athlete. He was a field athlete, track and field, you know. And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I did not expect all of this like sympathy that he expressed. That's the worst. I hate being injured. I'm so sorry that happened to you, and it felt weird, but I kind of liked it, and it wasn't right. Like it was, there's no reason to be. I wasn't even feeling the way that he was expressing, but that's like a Christian wannabe thing of suffer with those who suffer, you know. But that's, I think that's an example of like the wrong intention because you're trying to make somebody feel good, by pitying them.
But do you think that even with that wrong intention, though you felt good,
he meant well though. He meant well. It didn't help because it was just feelings. It was just.
But it made you feel better?
It made me feel good. I didn't really necessarily feel bad being injured.
If there was an argument, if there was a debate on which one we would prefer, most people would prefer the one that made it feel a little better. So what I'm wondering is that what makes that wrong if maybe that got them through that little moment?
It's ingratiating, and it's like it's kind of almost encouraging you to wallow in it. And then you start telling everybody that you're injured. You know?
It's like a mama thing.
Yeah, and in fact, I probably was in a mode, thinking back, I was in a mode of telling people I was injured.
Yeah.
And that was a big reward that he gave me.
Yeah.
I see how much I don't need that or something, so I don't want to put that out either. I don't.
Well, I mean, like...
As I see I don't need such a thing and false and all that, the desire to do that is less. So the trend, follow that trend, you get to zero, I think.
Well, I think that there's true, like we shouldn't be expecting it. But I think that like, say like you fall down and you banged up and like somebody looks at you and then keeps going. It also, you don't get offended by it, but it's just like the proper thing to do would be, hey man, are you good? Type of thing. And then you're like, yeah, you're good. And then, all right, cool. Then you leave it at that. But to pass by doesn't seem proper to me. Just to pass by and look.
The proper thing is what that black guy did, laughing at him. He's like, oh,
that's
what
I was. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Man up.
As opposed to, oh my gosh, you laugh. Oh wow, you fell.
So like, oh, I see.
Your friends might laugh at you if they see you fall and get hurt. I don't know. I think that a lack of pity is sometimes love.
Well, yeah,
you guys
I'm not
talk to people on the
pitiful.
street?
No,
not as much as you, probably, Nick.
Maybe it's a city thing, but in a modern America thing. But I've lived in a whole bunch of different cities and learned enough not to talk to anybody. You just don't. You don't. If someone falls, you don't. You don't.
Really? Why do you think so?
You're getting yourself into. You're opening yourself up to issues.
It could be a setup. Is one.
And look. You don't know what you could tumble into. You really don't. It takes a conversation. I remember. Well, I don't think I should even say that, but a friendly conversation you tumble into now their life. Now you're involved.
Interesting.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. And with it, you know how people complain we don't know our neighbors. You don't necessarily want to anymore. We have this, and some people don't want to. They don't, even if you want to, they don't want to.
Yeah.
You're almost imposing.
Well, see, that's why I talk to strangers, because I have this separation.
Well,
so I'm like friends with everybody.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, when do we get to? But then, do we get to a point then that where now we no longer have, we're not neighborly anymore?
Right.
Now we have no community.
No, we definitely should be friendlier.
Be a problem, but
I appreciate friendly people, and I think that they are natural leaders, kind of in the neighborhood.
The tough people, the ones who are actually genuinely tough, are the most friendliest.
Yeah.
Because I find that the sense of security that they have has no reason to pose a threat or to be a threat. You know what I mean? Like, the toughest guys don't walk around like this. You know what I mean? Like, snarling with the eyes.
Right.
Because there's like a peace in what they know that they are. Meaning, like, they know that they're just naturally tough.
Right, tough.
And not that they're just like,
only dangerous people walk around.
Right.
But tough people, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that when people come to this place of, like, I don't know, just security, the more friendly or naturally friendly, I don't think that we should go about trying to be friendly. Like, maybe that's what you mean. It's like maybe...
That's pretty much what I mean.
Yeah, walk around and be like, and trying to be friendly because that's the right thing to do. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You do get in trouble.
Now you're in someone's life.
Yeah. There's this guy named Neo, not from the Matrix.
With the Y.
Neo with the Y.
Oh,
exactly.
the singer guy.
The singer, yeah.
She got her own thing.
She got her own thing. Great music.
Yeah.
A bunch of Neo songs I have in my library as we speak. Exactly. Successful. As a matter of fact, he's actually written for a lot of people that we all know.
Songwriter, huh?
Songwriter. Nice. Yeah, a lot of songs. But he has come out a polygamist.
Oh, okay.
What you call it? Yeah. And he has 4 women. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
I might have heard about this.
Yeah.
It's kind of ringing bells.
He has 4 women. He was once he was married to a lady. They divorced. They had kids. They divorced. They didn't work out. I don't know the details of exactly what happened, but there was a big issue that he was dealing with, and he was on shows talking about it. And now he's in a relationship with 4 women, and he says that it works. This works, and he's okay with it. And they question him what he thinks about it and because there's a bunch of online hate. And here's a couple clips that I have here that I want to share of how he feels about this relationship. We're going to get into that. This is from Instagram. Angie Martinez, she has a podcast, a radio show. Neo speaks on his polygamous relationship with 4 women.
I'm not forcing anybody to be here. If for whatever reason you decide this ain't for you no more, the door is never locked. You have permission to go on about your business. I don't want anybody to think that I'm manipulating these women into doing something they don't want to do. Everyone that is here by choice.
These are grown women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They made the decision. The question I get asked the most is, are they allowed to date outside of me?
Oh.
That's the question I get all the damn time, and I'm answering right now. No, and I'm gonna tell you why. No, they are not. Here's the thing. When I got with these women, I did not ask for their exclusivity. I did not demand their exclusivity. They offered it. They said, they came to me and said, I want to be exclusive to you and just you. I said, you understand that your exclusivity to me does not mean my exclusivity to you.
Wow.
You understand this? Yes. You're okay with this? Yes. Okay, cool. Since you are offering your exclusivity and I'm taking it, now there's rules that I need you to follow.
What do you guys think on that?
That's smart. It's wrong, but it's smart. Because imagine another guy decides, I'm not okay with that. Then you have a problem between these 2 guys over a woman.
Oh, okay. Meaning, that the girl, the Neo and his girl didn't have an agreement?
Yeah, say if the girl decides, no, she doesn't want to be exclusive with him and she wants to date this other guy too. She's dating 2 guys.
Yeah.
There's going to be jealousy eventually between one guy and another guy.
But what if
so as a matter of like self-preservation of the system,
right?
This is a right. If you're gonna do it to preserve the system, and this is the way to do it.
It's complicated because these girls are going to get jealous of each other.
Right.
I grant that, and he's not doing right. I don't think, but it's better than if they're polygamous too, meaning they're going with other guys. Those other guys are eventually going to get jealous of Neo, or he's going to get jealous of them. And then you have a war between guys over a girl.
So the smart part is the fact that
keeping other guys out of it.
My question is that, like, I just wonder why do you feel like he has those 4?
Well, here's my thing. I'm listening to him, right? It's like, live your life, right? People living their life. You're going to make a big crusade. Like, who are you trying to convince?
Yeah.
Me, you, who are you trying to convince?
Exactly.
Right? Live your life. But it's funny to me, and I'm like continuously vindicated. It's the trauma generation. It's like you hear about this or that person. I was like, wow, that's such an interesting life. They're so normal. And yet, time and time again, peel it back. And it's maybe I'm judging or something. Peel it back, something happened. It's like, oh, he was divorced. Some trauma. Like something happened. Like it's never
they
like.
Have kids, right?
He had kids with the last,
Like it's never like.
That's a mess.
Wow, this came about so naturally. It's like, no, it came from like pain and chaos and destruction. Out of that comes like polygamy's the way. It's like, why is it like that with these things?
That's what I wonder, and that's why, like, I just want to know why. And I looked at the videos, and I didn't look in all of them, but like why he chose to do it this way, because that always like explains the answer. But I do think that like they do have this agreement, right? This agreement is that I'm the man, and you guys said you're going to be exclusive to me, but I didn't say I was going to be exclusive to you, and you can't see nobody else, and you guys are cool with that, and we have this agreement, and we're good. That's the part you guys saying is smart because it's clear cut.
Jesse's grandpa, according to From Rage to Responsibility, he had Jesse's grandma in the home with him. And then he had his wife, his actual wife, down the road. Oh, yeah. And then another woman over here.
Yeah.
The only reason we know about it is because Jesse mentioned it.
Yeah.
It feels like a woman take away the shame thing. Let's open up to this perverted polygamy thing. It feels like a woman culture. A woman culture meaning take away the shame of doing wrong. Culture to broadcast this and promote it. Because that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem manly or right or anything.
And consider that it's like this
because he could keep it quiet.
Yeah.
And not talk about it. Other people may find out because people are nosy into celebrity lives.
I think maybe that's why he did it.
He's trying to change the perception about it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And that's very
what
woman activist.
And that's
take away the shame.
It's fear. It's fear of like
fear.
What
he's
might
been
happen.
cajoled too by those women. Like you know you got to make it cool for them, and it's like it's interesting you're saying that because it's like you're seeing in real time like a redistribution of wealth and who's like the benefiters. Oh, you know, I'm a guy. I got all these women. Look at me. But it's like, you know, they're really setting it up for themselves. They're really benefiting. You know, everybody's got their fantasy, and you suffer for trying to make it happen. But the women are the beneficiaries here. It's like this distribution, It's genius.
Here's a part 2 of how he feels about it. Here we go.
So you're saying they got to have their own jobs and their own stuff and be able to hold things down.
Yes.
They can't see nobody else, but you could go outside the 4 or you can't.
I can, but I'm good.
But it has to be clear.
Everything.
You can't jump
open.
out the 4.
There is no just random hookups here and there. No, everything is talked about. Everything is discussed.
What is it about you? What are you delivering? What are you offering that has made these 4 women? It's 4? It's 4.
4. Mm-hmm.
That has made these 4 women say, "No doubt, I'm in."
Might be a better question for them, but
if you had to guess,
if I had to guess,
yes,
honesty, security. I've always felt like a woman will submit when you give her something worthy of her submission, and in a lot of cases, you know, men get caught up on a lot of stupid stuff that makes them unworthy of submission. Like you cannot force a woman to submit. It has to be her choice. You can, and I feel like when you give a woman security, when you show her that she's in a safe space with you, physically as well as emotionally, as well as spiritually, when you give her something to learn, when you give her something to look up to, when you feed her in ways that go beyond just the physical. Don't get me wrong, the physical counts too, but it has to be more than that. It has to be an emotional security. It has to be a spiritual security. I have to feed your mind and your soul as well as your body, and that's what I do.
That ain't gonna last. That gonna last.
Oh, well, let me paint the picture really quick because just in case details were missed, is that he said that they have to have their own thing. They have to work on their own, be independent, right?
They have to sleep in a separate bed. They have to be far away from me a majority of the time.
So
okay, well, there you go.
Then, what he's doing is he's painting the picture of that, like, they're not mooching off of me. That's not why they're here, because they have to have their own thing. They have to have their own money. They have to be their own person. But what I'm wondering is that what are they getting out of it? There has to be a trade-off. There has to be some type of trade-off. What are they getting out of it? Because what they have to do is they have this money. They have this.
They have their own money.
They have their own money.
Right. They have their own. That's what I'm trying to wonder. They have their own money.
They have their own money. They're independent.
What allegiance do they have?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There has to be something that they're getting, and this I'm just questioning, that they're getting from him that they're willing to share him with 4 women. You know what I mean? That's what I'm missing. What do you guys think? Do you guys have an idea of?
I don't know. I'm trying to understand. It doesn't say. I don't even see the allegiance. So what allegiance do they have? They have their own stuff. They can go whenever they want. So they're just getting like the thrill here. Oh, it's Neo. He's bringing me around these people. Status maybe. But like really,
Right.
the second they don't want to, and he said it himself. He's like, they'll leave whenever they want.
But see, that's what
now
I'm
that's
wondering.
sounding more like a little bit of a cope than I'm a
Right.
tough guy that can leave whenever they want. Now it's
Right.
starting to sound like a fear thing. Like you
Yeah.
can go whenever you want because he knows they would, because they have their own stuff, they have their own.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm wondering.
And so what's keeping it together is
maybe
status and a couple of things. You need a lot less to keep people together. To be honest.
People are desperate, and once they get into a situation, they're not that likely to leave the situation. Women do leave situations. Women are more likely to break up. They're more likely to divorce, and all of that. But if a man projects even a false confidence, my comment to that clip is you gotta love. I love the black's false confidence.
Yeah,
like he has all this talking about spiritually, emotionally.
Yeah. But there's something like, because like, I'm going to take his word at it, spiritually and emotionally,
Right.
he's providing this thing for them, right? But even so, is that like, it's not money, right?
Well, that's not clear.
Right. Well, he says that
He
they
says they
have
gotta
to
do
have
their
their
own
own
thing, but what does that
Right,
mean?
true. But then I'm like wondering, like, to me, I'm wondering if he even knows that there has to be something else that's attaching 4 women
Right.
to this one man. Is it money? Is it power? Whatever. There's something there.
It could just be his personality, because a lot of people, I know guys who, being broke, living with their mother, illegal, somewhat athletic but kind of fat,
Yeah.
but have no problem approaching the woman, and they'll get with women after women after women, maybe have multiple, and that's enough. Like Jesse interviewed a polygamist too, and that polygamist didn't look like he had a lot going on.
Yeah.
But it's like a black thing. There's slim pickings among men. A lot of men are insecure.
Yep.
And so if you just
Yeah.
project a false confidence, it's good
All
enough.
that, you gotta have maybe some of that old school in you. And this is a funny
Yeah.
comment even but it's like, I just remember hearing Charleston White the other day, this video. He's like, I'm like granddaddy in them. Me and my wife,
Yeah.
she knows I can have girlfriends. I'm like granddaddy in them, and I'm like, so there's something, right? There's something
Yeah.
to this. There's a history here.
Yeah.
Jesse, what you're saying, like,
Yeah.
I'm like those. I'm like
Yeah.
granddaddy in them, right? So I don't know
But
what
so
that's
see,
about.
what was
but-
Granddad doing?
I don't
I
know
guess
what
that's the question. What was Granddad doing?
Yeah.
That made people feel comfortable, made ladies feel comfortable with sharing, right? Because that's
And
an
peacefully,
abnormal and
where they're not like
right, fighting over each other.
At least not that we know of.
And
Maybe-
see, my judgment wants to say that they're all delusional, right? But there's always an explanation, right? Even if it's a false one, even if it's like a silly thing, right?
Or shallow, or
or shallow.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
still an explanation as to why people do the things they do. And it's not just because I can guarantee I won't say 100%, but I can guarantee it's not just because emotional, what did he say? Emotional
He's
intelligence, right?
Granddaddy. Here's the thing about Granddaddy. He was the man to that first woman.
Okay.
The man. And then things went wrong. Now I'm making stuff up, right? I'm
Yeah.
not talking about Jesse's. This is his granddaddy, hypothetical granddaddy.
Yeah.
He was the man of that first one. She loved him.
Yeah.
And they were like, whatever. And then, Papa was a Rolling Stone, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe eventually ended up being peaceful, but it wasn't. It didn't start off peaceful. And then, he went to here, he went there. And this is the end result. Now it's peaceful. But but in a sense, like there had to be a journey there, a growing for all people involved. But Granddaddy was
That's
the man.
interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and there's
to
something
them.
they had back. There's something they had, and whatever.
And Neo's got to be going on 50. He's like a little bit older,
Yeah.
and a little bit of an older person has a little bit more wisdom, if you will, or
Yeah.
skills in dealing with women and situations and himself.
Yeah.
And is just projects a little bit more of stableness. And God knows
Stability,
how long
yeah.
this is going to last,
That's
or
another
how long
thing,
it has
stability.
lasted.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Or-
Because it's
But
like you
there's
hear
an
him talk.
attraction. Oh, go ahead.
You hear him talk, and he's saying he sounds classic. Like he sounds like the guy who I have it all thought out. But they ask you. He hasn't, because they asked him. Well, what did they ask him? He was like, but what about you? Can you step out? He was just like, yeah, but I'm good. Like, did you even like consider this? It sounds like an area you haven't even thought to explore. Yeah. Like, are they gonna like that? It's like that sounds like a mess waiting to happen, or maybe even the end of that relationship.
Yeah, two things. The first thing is that like, they have a verbal agreement, right? And I don't know how much that means because people say stuff all the time like, oh, I'm not going to do it. Like, no, you can't be exclusive to me. I'm going to be, people say that all the time. Will you be my boyfriend? Will you be my girlfriend? And in your mind, that means you can't cheat, even though you're not married, right? But that doesn't mean they're not going to do it. It's just like a false verbal agreement. Gotcha. But I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that the only thing that they have to be attracted to him for is because his emotional intelligence or whatever he said, and his whatever his spiritual guidance, right? Yeah, because that can help. But what I want to say about it overall, and I don't know if this is Neo's case, but people are just looking for peace. Everybody looking for peace, and whether they know what it truly is or not, they're gonna settle on what makes them feel better, period. Right? And I think that that's what most people do is this works right now. We all have this agreement. We're not fighting. And I'm satisfied. They're satisfied. And I have no problems here and we're good. And that's how people, I feel like, live life, whether it's in entertainment.
That's true.
Or
that's how people live their lives.
Period. Like, it's not so much about whether it's true peace or not.
Yeah. Right.
It's more so of like, I feel good right now.
This feels good right now.
They'll settle with what they can get.
Yeah.
I called it wrong, what he's doing. And I think it's wrong. I don't know what's wrong about it.
Right.
I know that, like in the Bible, in the New Testament, they're talking about the leaders of the church should be the husband of but one wife.
Right.
Unmarried or married to one.
You said the Old Testament,
New Testament.
Okay.
And so
he set me up for that.
Like that kind of indicates that you're married, but you're still hopefully committed to like God.
Yeah.
A married person is often committed to the person or the idea of the relationship. It's like an idol rather than commitment to God. But when you have multiple, that just means that you're kind of chasing after the world, maybe. So, and he seems like he's just chasing after the world or reveling in the world, I guess, or settling in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what most of us are doing, what most people are doing, whether they have that or not. And, a lot of stuff looks functional on the outside, or it could be.
Right.
Because there's gays and even lesbians. They're known to fight.
Yeah.
Lesbians are known to have more domestic violence than anybody. But there's got to be some out there who are more functional.
Yeah.
And just make it work. And they're sort of traditional, but they're just lesbians or whatever.
So
this type of same thing.
Just look at Steve Harvey. How do you have a marriage that lasts long? Just shut your mouth.
Yeah. What's so crazy is that my whole life, I've like leaned on what you just said, which is that they seem functional. And like when it seems functional, you don't resist, right? Like, we know that celebrity does A, B, and C, D, E, F, G, and it's all like seems so crazy. Like, like within, like that doesn't seem proper.
Yeah.
But on the surface, everything seems to be working out for them. They got this music, they got this success. They go on these podcasts, they're well-spoken. Neil well-spoken, well-explaining these things. He seemed calm, seemed peaceful, seemed like he's got the answers. But we don't really know what's going on behind closed doors. So I think you really just got to focus on you and get to know yourself and just do what you believe to be true. Because even when I find myself trying to discover what is going on here, it's like, it's cool to us to have this conversation, talk about it, but that's none of my business at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's really hard to know.
Yeah, it's like, really that's exactly.
Info
and you can't even really judge because in your own life, you're cheating. in your own life in different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Like people are doing wrong in their lives.
Yeah.
And he's just doing wrong on another level publicly and telling about it.
Yeah.
He's doing wrong I think it's wrong in a way that is supposedly maybe working for him at the moment. You know what else strikes me sometimes, every now and then, is how these older black guys like him dress like young men on the street on a podcast and not like grown men business.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I get that it's music, and he's not a rapper at all, is he?
Well, that's just entertainment,
right?
Well, I guess no, because actors don't dress like that. Actors dress like more class. There's more class.
Yeah, they might be. They might be very casual.
Yeah, I think that's just like
but it's not childish. Almost like I don't know. There's something.
It's like black entertainment. It's like music, but like R&B or hip hop.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't typically see country singers like that. You don't see. It's a black thing. Yeah.
And I see it all the time. Like grown men in their 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Dress young.
Yeah.
Baggy, whatever. They come to the men's forums sometimes. Well, I shouldn't say that. We don't disclose what happens in the men's forums.
But what you wear.
But and they pull it off, sort of.
Yeah.
They're sort of fit.
Yeah.
They you do see lines on their face, but I
yeah,
don't know, it's just something interesting about that.
Stylish.
Yeah, stylish and sort of. It works, but it's sort of immature looking.
Yeah.
Only when you pause to think about it do you consider that it's sort of immature.
Yeah.
What do you call those tiny little like tight braids that Drake wears, like Snoop Dogg wore a long time ago too?
Which ones?
It's tight. There's like a bead in it too. Put a bead in it.
But it's
totally
braids?
different topic.
It's a braid?
It's a braid maybe. It's super tight and it's like, and they put like a bead in it.
But it's it's sticking up.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, like.
But sometimes it goes down like this. But it's just two.
Oh. I don't even know what the.
Cut that out.
No, well, because they have cornrows and they have braids. It could just be
it's
braids.
Like this, you need this like plastic bead. You need this big old bead and it comes down. Snoop Dogg did it a bunch.
I really don't like I really do not like Jay-Z's look. And this is the first
the
time.
dreads?
Yeah. Like, and this big old thick, nasty, it looks almost like big poop. Sorry. I'm not going to say that. But he looks so good with the normal, whatever he had.
Well, that's boring to people. You know what I mean?
I know, but he looks so much more mature.
I know.
And manly.
But they'll probably like clown you within the community or even the industry if you look too nice. Like, no, you're dressed in white.
But he wasn't a pretty boy. He was still like, it was still black. Yeah. But it was just normal. He looked like a normal tough guy. And now he looks like you know what I mean.
Dollar store
I think
Basquiat.
it's like because when I was in high school, I wanted an afro so bad. I wanted an afro so bad, and my mom used to tell me, "No, you're not gonna have an afro."
Dang,
and
nice.
I used to be like mad. I used to like be mad. I argue with her like, why I can't? Like, all my friends get to wear. She wouldn't let me wear my hat to the back and twisted. It can only be straight to the back or straight to the front. It couldn't be twisted to the side because she didn't want me. She knew better. You know, my mom grew up in like LA up until she was 12, so she knew what that meant at that time. One day she just let me do it. Like she caved and let me do it. And I look back on the pictures. It's the most hideous thing I've ever seen in my whole life. And I would never dare to even like get a pic and do that again and walk outside.
That's so funny. You got to get those pics.
But it may be, like you said, it looks decent on some people to where they know how to rock it well, but it's still like a big old afro type of thing.
Yeah.
But the point is that we think things don't look a certain way out of like an insecurity or out of like this false idea because you've been made fun of or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if it's defiance or radicalism or if he thinks it looks good.
Yeah.
Or it seems like a statement.
Like a statement. Yeah. Because a lot of rappers do wear the dreads like that. J. Cole.
But he seems normal in that. I mean, I think. I'm not sure.
That's true. Just image-wise, aesthetically.
Yeah.
It's the pot.
Yeah. And is he younger? I feel like J. Cole is a bit younger or fitter or something.
He's like 40 something.
Yeah.
The reason why the way I dress and look changed is due to like me having to provide for myself, get a job, go to work.
Yeah.
Then the people around me dressed this kind of way, or the attire was this type of thing. That would like shaped my like the way I dress and what looks like aesthetically pleasing more, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these rappers and artists, they never had jobs.
True.
So they make music in the middle of the night, right? So you go at 4 or 5, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're wearing sweats, comfortable t-shirt. Who's getting dressed up to go in the studio and nobody gonna see you? And it's nighttime, so you feel like this is like chill time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also they're going to sleep and they're waking up at 12, 1, 2 p.m. in the day, right?
Yeah.
So they're like concept of like productiveness is different.
Right.
And
their fashion is trying to be more artsy.
Yeah, and then on top of it, like they claim it as just being like, oh, that's part of being art or whatever the case is.
I mean, Beyonce seems to be into the black thing. He probably is more into the black thing than he ever has been.
Yeah,
like African black almost.
Yeah.
And that's what that look seems to be. But it's so disgusting how thick those things are.
Yeah,
Doesn't look great.
Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah,
shout out.
You're so right, man. And my job will do that to me. I eventually too, one day.
Yeah, one day it'll catch up.
Yeah, I know.
When I did the insurance thing, only could wear suits.
Yeah.
But what that did was that like I never had no desire to wear no suit. That was no thing. But when you wear one and you get a clean cut and you go and people compliment you,
right,
it makes you like see things a little bit differently.
My brother is a teacher, always wears a tie.
Yeah.
And in high school,
Yeah.
And the ladies like a man in a uniform.
Yeah.
Or a
that
suit.
probably plays a big part.
Yeah.
It's the attention you may get from the.
Look at Trump.
Yeah.
Trump, you rarely see him outside of a suit and tie.
Yeah.
And he almost doesn't look right without that.
Without it.
And guys kind of don't look right. That's the thing. Like, just how they dress and stuff.
True.
Yeah.
In general,
Boyish.
guys don't look right. So
Yeah.
the reason when you learn, I was doing a little bit of learning. Like, I was like, I know I gotta figure this out. But it's like when you learn the reason why certain suits are worn this way or that way, you're like, oh, this is actually really cool. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And you see, there's actually a lot more style and freedom in the suit world and doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
And again, something that just fits nice. It's about fit. I mean, from what I hear.
But it's really
not like.
Oh, go ahead. No, I wonder if there's like a certain type of identity, but not like an evil. Maybe it's not in an evil way or like an ego way, to where when you wear a suit, like say your brother who was a teacher, you wear a suit every day, is that you almost become like the suit in a sense that like you're respected in this way. You're seen as this authority.
That's true.
In your approach. So then now you kind of like
It's a signal.
try to put on the sweatshirt and then you don't feel the same. So I wonder if it's like also like a identity thing.
Yeah, it could
Maybe.
be like it could be some security blanket or a sense of confidence. But it all we go to a place, you're underdressed or you're overdressed.
Yeah.
It's better to overdress than to underdress, they say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Nick Fuentes says, who wears a suit oftentimes on his show, almost all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, a man shouldn't be wearing a print T-shirt. Wear a T-shirt like I always wear that has a print on it.
Graphic shirts.
I'm like, I know. But
It turns.
yeah, go ahead.
No, it turns out fashion has like a kind of like a cool manly root to it. Actually.
Yeah.
Like I was learning about suits a bit. Then the classic what do they call it? Navy something suit. And then there's the like tweed brown more casual suit. They came about because the English, when they were in the city, they had the navy one, but when they were out in the countryside, they wore the navy tweed one. So and that's why that stayed for so long.
Yeah,
and people do that today. Oh, that's casual because the English were in the casual countryside when they were wearing those things.
But there's also
it all has like a root, a language. There's a language to this. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
But that's the thing is that like when you bring the language up, it's actually a good point because there's something about it that makes how do I put it? Like the aura more like presentable or more respectful or like your attitude a little bit different. That's cool.
It's a proper presentation.
It's a proper presentation.
Yeah.
But they said that even if you're doing Zoom, still wear a tie.
Nice.
And it's because when you put it on and you're sitting there wearing it, there is a different attitude that comes from you when you're projecting on, even on Zoom. Yeah. Right? Because if you're in pajamas, you feel like pajamas. Yeah. Almost, you know?
You feel and look like a slob.
Yeah. So I think maybe to the language thing that you're saying when they're going in the countryside, it's just more of a proper way to hang out, talk, conversate.
You know what is an Englishman's first what was it that I heard? The Englishman's first gift to the world? How to dress.
Really?
Nice.
Something I heard.
Interesting.
Could be.
Because you dress yourself or something like that.
You notice like the British Empire ruled for a while, and then you see like pictures of Asians dressing in like suits.
Oh, yes.
And blacks, Africans dressing in suits.
So now when I wonder
with
why...
the British flag flying
all
these places.
That's so interesting.
And Indians too, probably.
So the Englishmen that you're saying is that, who are they?
The British Empire. Yeah. Because they colonized the world. You know, they colonized parts of maybe Hong Kong and India and Africa and America and South America.
But anyway.
Nice.
My last question. How do we end this?
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Hit the button over here. Subscribe over there. Ring the bell over.
I'm not doing all that editing with all this. That's not gonna pop up over there. It's not gonna pop up.
Ain't nothing popping up. And the people like, where? Just hit the button. Y'all know what to do. Bye.
But you didn't say to Punchie TV, but I'll put that up. Punchie TV.
I didn't know I was supposed to say that.
You subscribe to Punchie TV.
Oh.
But that's fine.
But they know they're looking at Punchie TV.
That's fine.
We'll put that in. Put that in the edit. That part, that little conversation.
Yeah, put that in there.
I wonder how long we're gonna keep that.
I know.
Cause somebody asked me like, why do you guys do that?
Oh, that's funny.
All right, nice. That was pretty good. Thank you guys.